Hello and welcome. As you can tell by the title, I'm the Obsessed Movie Man, O.M.M. What can you say about the Transformers nowadays? With Michael Bay's bloated and incomprehensible series, it seems as if nothing will redeem the beloved characters that originated in their 80s cartoon series of the same name. I, for one, did not necessarily grow up with the Transformers, but I knew the basics. The heroic Autobots are at war with the evil Decepticons. Even if you've never watched the shows or even the movies, most people can at least identify Optimus Prime, the brave and wise leader of the Autobots. I remember going to see the first movie in theaters as a kid, and when I saw it, I noticed something off about the movie. Something didn't seem right. It turns out the movie, Transformers, is not a story that takes its time to focus on the Transformers. Instead, Michael Bay thought it would be best to focus on the annoying and offensive human characters such as Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, and many, many more vile and despicable characters who have ever graced the cinematic screen. Critically, the series got worse and worse, while the general public considered it a great movie series. For a long time, I have hated the Transformers, not them being characters, but them now being a cheap tagline that attracts people to the theater to see some of the most belligerent material to date. However, I always knew there was potential for a movie about the Transformers, and them alone. My wish was that one day such a movie would be made. If only I had known that not only did such a movie exist, but that it also predated the Michael Bay movies. Yes, in 1986, Transformers the movie was put up on the big screen in all its glory. The reception of the movie was mixed, some saying it was a blatant commercial in disguise advertising new toys, while other fans said it was great. In fact, it has gained a cult following. So, could it be that there was more to this movie than meets the eye? Well, let's talk about it. Our story is about the continuing war between the Autobots and the Decepticons in the year 2005, but also involves a gigantic robot planet named Unicron who devours other planets and his intentions to destroy the Autobot matrix of leadership which Optimus Prime possesses. Another part of the plot centers on the Transformer Hot Rod, a rebellious teen-like Transformer who is friends with the human Daniel Witwicky. Don't worry, this Witwicky has nothing in common with Sam Witwicky. Now that I've mentioned it, let's take a look at how many human characters are in this movie. Only two? That must mean that the movie titled Transformers the Movie primarily consists of Transformers. That's great! Give me a rough estimate of how many Transformers appear on screen. That's great! Now, let's see how many Transformers appear in the giant action flick Transformers. Oh, that's significantly less. Out of curiosity, let's see how many human characters appear. Interesting. A movie titled Transformers focus on a cast primarily affiliated with human characters. Just pointing that out. Anyway, back to the review. As the film continues, the Autobots have their first battle with the Decepticons. Here we are introduced to some new characters, Ultra Magnus, Arcee, Blur, Springer, and Perceptor. Why do we need new characters? To sell more toys, of course! Actually, yes and no. The main reason why I bring this up is because a considerable amount of characters that were already created get killed off in this movie. That's right, many characters bite the dust. Ironhide, Ratchet, Starscream, and a few more. Hell, how was I or any child who grew up in the 80s supposed to know that 20 minutes into the movie, Optimus would be killed? Oops, was that a spoiler? I don't know, it's only been what, 27 years? Never would I have guessed that they would actually do it. How could they possibly get away with killing off probably the most definitive Transformer? For what it's worth, I'm impressed that they did it. Sure, I didn't want to see Optimus die, but killing him was a big risk, and I think that it paid off in the end. It's kind of similar to Spock's death at the end of Wrath of Khan. We feel sad that it has happened, but we can see that if they died for a noble cause, it strengthens the character, and I think that's what happened to Optimus. Speaking of Star Trek, there's a great deal of good voice actors in this film, one of them being Leonard Nimoy as Galvatron, Megatron in a different form. Yes, so Nimoy has been in two Transformer movies. At least he got to be in one good one. Though I enjoyed his performance, I didn't really understand why they switched voices from Frank Welker to Nimoy. Granted, he's not Megatron anymore, but I always assumed he just got upgraded, so I don't really see the need for a different voice. Other voice actors include the returning Peter Cullen as Optimus, Frank Welker as Megatron, and featuring new actors such as John Machida Jr. as Blur, Judd Nelson as Hot Rod, Eric Idle as Wreck-Gar, and the most infamous cast member, Orson Welles as Unicron. Welles doesn't have a lot of lines, but when he speaks, it's downright chilling. This was Welles' last role before he died. In fact, he died 5 days after finishing recording. You may be wondering what Welles thought of his part in the movie. Well, according to many sources, Welles didn't really care for the project. Welles said to his biographer, quote, "I play a planet, I menace somebody called something or other, then I'm destroyed," unquote. Some have also said that Welles actually was glad to work on an animated film. That kind of makes sense. I mean, why else would an old man who's on the brink of death be a part of something that he's not at all interested in? Putting that aside, Unicron was a startling character whose presence is only seen a few times in the movie, but when he does appear, the audience knows he means business. He kind of reminds me of the shark in Jaws in a sense. You don't see either of them for some time, and when you do, it's usually one quick scene, that is until the third act. Also like Jaws, Unicron has his own distinct theme music. That's another positive thing about this movie. The soundtrack is awesome. Yeah, it's a bit dated now, but I think it helps the movie. The songs usually fit the scenes, and they also establish a mood that a character is possibly going through. For example, The Touch is played when Optimus goes off to fight Megatron. The song is essentially about someone who will never give up, even during their darkest hours. That's pretty much what the scene is about. Optimus realizes that Megatron needs to be stopped, and only he can do it. The film ends pretty much as one expects. Rodimus rises to maturity to become the next Prime, he defeats Galvatron and Unicron, and the Autobots reclaim Cybertron. It's a bit of a predictable ending, but you know what? It makes more sense than the other Transformers movies. This story is short and simple, and provides interesting and colorful characters, and it is presented in a mere 84 minutes. I definitely give it a watch. So, when Transformers 4 comes out and millions of fans cry out that Michael Bay has ruined the Transformers for good, remember that this movie still exists. Yeah, it's a bit cheesy, but you know what? This is a series about robots fighting each other. Let it pass. Bottom line is, one movie shall stand, one shall fall. Or one movie series shall fall. Thank you for watching. This is an O.M.M review, and this is O.M.M signing out. Or rolling out. You've got the touch. You've got the power. Oh, I thought I turned this off.